The Galactic Council chamber fell silent as Ambassador Akira walked through the crystalline doors, two small humans trailing behind her. The assembled representatives, beings from 17 different worlds, shifted in their seats, their various appendages twitching with barely concealed amusement. "These are your warriors?" Counselor Vexthor clicked, his mandibles spreading in what passed for a smile among the Chitauri. "These cubs?" Akira's expression remained neutral, though her jaw tightened imperceptibly. Behind her, the two young humans, neither older than 7 standard years, gazed around the chamber with wide eyes. The boy clutched a worn stuffed animal while the girl held her brother's hand. "These are human children," Akira corrected. "I brought them as part of the cultural exchange program you requested." "Children," Vexthor repeated, his voice dripping with condescension. "Yes, we have heard of your species' extended maturation period. 20 cycles before combat readiness. Pathetic." Murmurs of agreement rippled through the chamber. The Zorgothi delegate, a massive creature of muscle and chitin, let out a booming laugh. "And you wonder why we hesitate to admit humanity to the Council? Your young are defenseless, weak." Captain Hayworth, standing at attention near the chamber entrance, felt his fists clench. He had argued against this demonstration, warned Akira that the Council wasn't ready to understand. But she had insisted. "Permission to speak, Ambassador," Hayworth said quietly. Akira nodded. "With respect to the Council," Hayworth began, his voice carrying through the chamber, "you misunderstand the nature of human young. They are not warriors. They are something far more important. They are our future, our innocence, our reason for existing." "Precisely our point," Vexthor interjected. "Weakness. The Chitauri young can hunt from the moment they emerge from their eggs. The Zorgothi young fight their siblings for dominance within hours of birth. This is strength." "Is it?" Akira asked softly. She knelt beside the two children, speaking to them in gentle tones. The girl nodded, and both children moved to sit on a bench along the wall, seemingly absorbed in a simple game. "Let me tell you what you're really seeing," Akira continued, standing to face the Council. "You see dependency, and you call it weakness. You see innocence, and you call it vulnerability. But you're missing what makes humanity dangerous. Dangerous." The Zorgothi delegate snorted. "These cubs?" "No," Akira said. "Not them, us." She gestured to Hayworth, who tapped a control panel. A holographic display materialized, showing historical footage from Earth, battles, last stands, desperate defenses. "Every species here protects their young, yes. But humans?" Akira's voice took on an edge. "We don't just protect them. We become something else entirely when they're threatened. Every restraint, every mercy, every civilized instinct gone." "Empty posturing," Vexthor clicked dismissively. "We have seen your military capabilities. Adequate, but hardly." The explosion cut him off. The chamber's far wall erupted inward, and 4 heavily armed Krath raiders burst through, their weapons already firing. The Krath, pirates, slavers, the scourge of the outer systems, had chosen their moment perfectly. The Council's security forces were caught completely off guard. Chaos erupted. Counselors dove for cover as plasma bolts scorched the air. The Krath moved with practiced efficiency, their target obvious. The 2 human children were the most vulnerable beings in the room, perfect hostages. The little girl screamed. It was a sound of pure terror, high-pitched and piercing. Her brother joined her, their voices echoing off the crystalline walls. Every being in the chamber felt the instinctive urge to cover their auditory organs. But for the humans present, that scream triggered something primal. Hayworth moved first. Later, witnesses would struggle to describe his speed. One moment he stood by the entrance. The next he was across the chamber, placing himself between the raiders and the children. He had no weapon, no armor. He didn't need them. The first Krath raider swung his rifle toward Hayworth. The captain caught the weapon's barrel with his bare hand, seemingly oblivious to the heat, and yanked it forward. His other fist crashed into the raider's helmet with such force that the reinforced material cracked. Akira was moving too. She had retrieved a ceremonial staff from a display and wielded it like a spear. Her diplomatic facade shattered completely. Her face was twisted in an expression of pure rage that made several counselors recoil. She struck with brutal efficiency, every blow designed to cripple or kill. But it was the other humans present, 3 aides, 2 security personnel who had been disarmed, who truly demonstrated what Akira had tried to explain. They converged on the raiders with terrifying coordination. No orders were given. None were needed. The children's screams had activated something ancient in every human brain. One aide, a slight woman who worked in translation services, tackled a Krath twice her size. She bit clean through his armor seal, her teeth finding the softer flesh beneath. An analyst who spent his days reviewing trade agreements was beating another raider's head against the floor with mechanical precision, his face blank, his movements relentless. Hayworth broke the second raider's weapon arm, then his leg, then his other arm. He didn't stop. Couldn't stop. The children were still crying. The Krath leader, seeing his team falling, made a desperate lunge for the boy. He got within 2 meters before Akira's staff took him in the throat. As he fell, Hayworth was on him, hands around his neck, squeezing. "Hayworth," Akira's voice cut through the red haze. "Hayworth, stop. They're down." The captain's hands slowly loosened. He was breathing hard, blood, not his own, covering his uniform. Around the chamber, the other humans were standing down, their temporary madness fading as the children's cries quieted. The Krath raiders lay broken on the floor. All 4 were alive, but barely. The entire encounter had lasted less than 30 seconds. Silence filled the chamber once more, but this time it was different. The counselors stared at the humans with something approaching horror. They had seen battle, had witnessed violence in countless forms. But this was something else entirely. This was methodical, overwhelming, and most disturbing of all. This was the restrained response. Akira walked calmly to the children, checking them for injuries. Finding none, she turned back to the council, her diplomatic mask sliding back into place despite the blood on her hands. "Now you understand," she said quietly. "Human children are weak, yes. Defenseless, absolutely. That's not a flaw in our species. It's a weapon. Because we don't just fight for our young. We fight like nothing in this galaxy has ever fought before. We become monsters that make your nightmares look tame." She gestured to Hayworth, who had composed himself but still radiated a barely contained violence. "Every human you see, regardless of their profession, their personality, their beliefs, show them a threatened child, and you'll see what we really are. We're not warriors by nature, counselors. We're worse. We're parents, siblings, protectors, and we will burn the galaxy down before we let our cubs come to harm." Counselor Vexthor's mandibles trembled. This is barbaric." "Yes," Akira agreed simply. "It is. That's what you need to understand about humanity. We chose civilization. We built laws, morality, ethics. We chose to be better than our instincts. But when our young scream," she looked directly at the Chitauri counselor, "all those choices become optional." The vote to admit humanity to the Galactic Council passed unanimously 3 days later. The official reason cited humanity's technological achievements and diplomatic potential. The real reason was never stated but universally understood, because every counselor who had been in that chamber had heard those children scream, and they had seen what happened when humans heard it too. They had finally understood what made humanity truly dangerous. Not that they could become monsters, but that they chose not to be. And that choice was always conditional.